Yeah, it's been an incredible morning. I'm anxious to get over, and I'm not sure even what status we're at in the schedule right now with our men working out. But been visiting with staffs, head coaches, and then getting to visit with good friend Sam Ponder and her husband Christian. Hadn't seen them in a while. It's good to have them here. So it's been a good morning. I met with all the staffs at 9 and coaches that are here, and went through all of our young men and. It's a big day. It's exciting. It's something that we hope people that are on the mountain for the first time or third time or 10th time, we hope they sense that this is a special place. And not that there aren't other special places, but man, we should be mentioned in those places. For our hospitality and the culture that you feel while you're here, and hopefully you sense that in the way our kids compete today. And just excited, thrilled with our recruiting staff, our personnel staff, our administration. I think they've put together a great plan for everybody that's here today to really enjoy their experience at Liberty.
What's the biggest question NFL scouts, coaches, and all ask about Malik?
So I had 3 meetings this morning. The first question from each of those teams was, tell us, what does he need to work on? And that is a very hard question for me because I'm a straight shooter. And they even said, they came out of my 9 o'clock meeting with everybody and said, man, you shoot straight bullets. And I said, well, I'm too old to – that's all I know to do is just to tell you exactly how it is. And but if I've told Malik this, and I believe it, what Malik – doesn't know, he doesn't know. It's not that he cannot do anything. I believe he can do anything, but we're talking about a young man. He's only played 2 years of quarterback. Any significant snaps are the only ones that occurred here with us. And so if I had to say from his time here, the things that got him in trouble were just fundamentally truncating his drops sometimes that create a bad depth in the protection for the O-line and hurt the timing of routes. That would be the one thing that he was able to get out of most of them because of how athletic he is and extend the plays. But outside of that, I really have very little. I know his arm strength's good enough. I know his accuracy's good enough. I know his football IQ is good enough. Obviously, there's a learning curve always when you go into a new program, whether it's college or NFL. Every verbiage is going to be different. And, I think I put some of the, I don't know if it's coaches or more, but, hey, can he take a snap under center? And I says, absolutely he can, but I didn't see anybody in the playoffs taking snaps under the centers, so I don't know why that's a big question. I mean, y'all go watch the playoffs. I don't know. Were they under center much? I didn't see it. So I do know this. I didn't see many of them protecting quarterbacks real well against those great D lines, so you might ought to have somebody that can run around like Malik. So that was my answer to those. But truthfully, that's really what – most of them, though, have done such this is not the first time. I mean, we go back to the Senior Bowl or either at the Combine or to here. The ones who are really serious, they've dug in pretty good, so they don't have a lot of questions. I think they're anxious. They were kind of surprised at Malik's willingness to throw 70 times today, which is very rare. You don't get that much. Most quarterbacks are going to want to throw about 40 balls today at the most. Malik said, I'll throw 70, and he said, I want to make sure I give every receiver that's a teammate of mine their opportunity also. So that's the kind of guy Malik is.
Hugh, with all the attention on Malik, obviously, this week, what kind of opportunity does that present for your other players who are hoping to open some eyeballs this week with some of the extra attention?
Yeah, I think it's – I mean, you can't quantify. It's hard to quantify what this day, means in totality for his teammates and the opportunities that but there's kids that are going to work out today that I told the staffs in there that if I'm an NFL coach, I at least want this kid in camp. And whether it's Story Jackson or Ralph Roostens or Elijah James or Deron Lowe or Skylar Thomas, all those guys, DJ Stubbs. I mean, those are, and I don't mean to leave people out, but all of those guys, I think, have potential, and I can't judge for them what their needs are, but truthfully, if Malik weren't here today, what you cut our pro days attendance into maybe a quarter of what it is. And so the more eyes mean possibility of more opportunity. At the same time, I don't think it can be quantified that all of these people that are here with us, the NFL Network, Samantha Ponder's here. I mean, she's the best in the business of what she does, and as a female broadcaster, and then you got the ESPN here, and when they leave here, and the word of mouth says, "Man, that look, I haven't been to there before, but that's a pretty special place." Then you have all the scouts and all the coaches, and they said, and word of mouth travels. Well, that helps me in recruiting, and it helps me get the next Malik Willis. And so I don't know that you can. Obviously, it's big for our city. I've talked to numerous people around town that are just like, man, our restaurant business is up this week, and that's not normal for this time of year, this, that, and the other. I mean, it's beneficial. And, we think we have a great product at Liberty University, and we're excited that Malik's day here is hopefully going to help a lot of others.
Hey, Coach, was you surprised with Malik achievement that he have got here since he's been here? Was you surprised with all of this is going on?
That's a tough one to answer. I had no clue when we took him that we would be sitting here today with these type discussions. Zero clue. Truthfully, I had to make a gut decision as to whether or not I thought he could play quarterback, because there was no tape of any significant snaps at all. He only had 15, and they were zone runs or something that I knew he could do that. And so when you're making that decision do I believe that through his ability, desire, everything, and our coaching here, do I believe that this kid can help us win football games was the primary question. It was not, hey, do I believe Malik Willis can end up on draft day going in the draft? I never even crossed my mind. Fast forward, he sets out his year of being ineligible, gets the starting nod that first year, and about game 5, now we start having a different discussion. We're like, there's something to this young man, and not just as a player, incredible teammate, incredible humility, service of others matters to him, and he's able to forget. He owns the bad things, whether either he was responsible or not. It was always his fault, and it was always everybody else's successes that he gave credit for, even though he may have accounted for 7 touchdowns. It was somebody else. So he has those innate qualities that I think make that locker room really, really better because of his presence, and not to mention his athleticism and his ability to play that position. So I think that's what they're getting. And he also has that ability to – does he want to be the starter? Absolutely. But if an NFL team looked at him and said, hey, right now we just don't think you're ready, you're going to be our backup, or great, tell me what I got to do to improve. If they look at him and say, hey, man, you got it, you did it, you're going to be our starter, great, let's go. I mean, he has that rare ability to handle all of that.
I'm sure you also got a lot of questions about his characters off the field. What did you tell?
Yeah, I've never coached a kid that I trust as much or more. I mean, I've coached some that I feel the same about, but he is the most athletic, talented, yet humble kid I've ever coached. And I mean that it's real. It's as real as it gets. You can't fake it all the time, and it's just as real as it gets. You know, whether it's him seeking to serve somebody, or at a bowl game like this past year when sometimes some of the events get a little tiresome to do, you know, as the week goes on and you're ready to play, but they really want you to go to this other project or community service deal, and you usually divide those up among teams. And you know, that last night we got one going on before the game, and nobody's wanting. And foolishly, somebody in our office divided them up by position, and they had asked the D-line to do that last night. Well, anybody that knows D-line, you don't wait till the last night to ask D-linemen to carry that weight. You need to get them out first and get it over with early in the week, because D-line are a little different. And so they're after the game, after the practice, they're like, oh, I really don't want to go, and they're giving our young lady fits that kind of ran that. And Malik Willis steps up and says, that's fine, I'll go, and O-line will go with me. We'll do another shift. I mean, that's real. I don't know that I would have done that when I was in college. If I'd already done mine, I would like, man, you guys got to go, but I'm not going. And Malik didn't blink, and he and the O-line went with him.
Coach, what do you tell scouts if they ask you about him not playing against a bunch of Power 5 schools? Is there like a series from the Ole Miss game you put the tape?
Yeah, I could put a lot of plays on from the Ole Miss game or the Virginia Tech game from last year, both the Syracuse games. I think you have to look at it as for what it is. So, are those rosters apples for apples? I don't think so, and I'm certainly not diminishing our team, because we beat 2 of the 3, and had we played the first half at Ole Miss, I think we'd beat them too. So we did beat them the second half. Does that get us anything? Probably not. But we, you know, there's when he is protected. So, all right, do we have the capacity at our team every single week to protect against some D lines in the country? Probably not right now. I don't know that everybody does. So this is not a knock on. So I think you have to judge it through the lens of, you know, he's making plays even though the cast around is not apples for apples sometimes, and yet now there are decisions that are made that he shouldn't make. Also, you have to own that part, and he does, and he will. Is that caused by some of the pressure that he's feeling, or could be? But he's got to handle that, and he's got to do it better. So I think everybody that does this for a living understands. Look, when we're putting on that tape, but I don't care what you put on. There's in this draft class, is there a kid that has more balance, more athleticism, more ability to extend plays, arm strength? I'm going to say he's number one in all of those. Now, there may be some others he's not, but he's number one in a lot of those, in my opinion.
Coach, there's a lot of throws to the field in your offense. Was that a Malik thing?
Shoot, yeah, ain't many quarterbacks that can make those.
So is that like a normal part of your offense?
I wish. If I've got a guy, I mean, the when you're on the left hash in the college game, you know, the hashes in the NFL are a little different, but when you're on the left hash in the college game, there's been years where I have quarterbacks where, man, outside the numbers to the field it's off limits, because you just don't have that type of arm strength to do it. And I can put on a reel for 3 minutes of throws that we made from a hash outside the numbers in tight quarters over the 2 years he played it, and that's a rare quality.
Can I ask about a specific throw against Syracuse this last year? It was like a whole shot. The far has.
Yeah, I remember it well.
How do you guys grade that? Because like when I watch it, I'm like, oh.
Well, you're no. Oh my. Or in practice when he would do it, and you just look at Coach Austin and go, you know, I don't know if we can teach that, but we ain't gonna tell him not to do it. You know?
To the point of mentioned his relatively limited experience playing field football and then playing here versus a power conference school. If teams ask about the learning curve, how quickly he can get on the field.
Yeah, the learning curve to me is, they like to phrase it, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's somebody's football IQ? I never answer that question. I've learned through the years that's not a fair question to me, but because I don't know what your 10 is. I don't know what your 5 is. I don't know what your 1 is. Is your 9, Russell Wilson? Is it? I don't know, but I didn't coach him, so I don't know. I don't have a – here's what I would say to you. If the best guy that I've ever coached, it took 3 reps for him to immediately recognize this is field pressure coming. I see it. If it took him 3, if the best guy I ever coached did that, then it probably takes Malik 4. So whatever that means to you, but he will not have a problem picking up your playbook or your expectations of football IQ. He's going to get, because it matters. It matters to him.
With Trey Turner coming here to work out on the same day as his pro day over at Tech, how did that all kind of come together? And was there like a previous relationship there?
Yeah, that's a Malik deal. The guy wants to work out with Malik, truthfully, and we're open to helping kids and helping Malik. We're short. We don't have a ton of receivers, and we want to make sure Malik gets quality work, and so we've added 2 receivers to the workout, one from Richmond and one from Virginia Tech, that Malik has confidence in.
We've got time for 1 or 2 more questions for Coach.
In your opinion, is there a system that you see right now that would be ideal for Malik's success in the next level?
Yeah, there's multiple. I think the college game has transcended into the NFL world, and I know that because I cliniced with 3 or 4 NFL teams last spring that are trying. They want to know, how are you doing this tempo? How are you doing this RPO? How are you doing this? So I know that it's – and then you watch the playoff teams. I mean, whether it's Kansas City or whether it's Cincinnati or Buffalo or the Rams or – I mean, all of those are into – now, do they have more complexities and more side adjustments? Yeah, they have more time to work on all those things. So, yes, it's definitely more complicated, and I certainly am not acting like that it's not. But there are so many of those systems now, the Baltimores of the world. I'm sure I'm forgetting many, but, I mean, just you look throughout the league, and there's just – There's I would guess 50% or more that are in this world of athletic type quarterback, being able to make plays and extend plays, because again, I do think the hardest thing to do in today's time is protect the quarterback. These D lines are so dang athletic and big and strong, and it's just very difficult for an O-lineman to set in a stance against a guy that's bigger, maybe not bigger, but faster, quicker twitch than most O-linemen, and he can line up wherever he wants to, as can the rest of them, and me just sit back there and protect this quarterback all day long. And so I think it's growing to where they're saying, man, we might ought to get a guy that can extend a play and create a first down, thus we stay on the field.
Got a final question for Coach.
Do you think because of that, there's less of an emphasis on processing in the evaluation period and more of an emphasis?
No, he's been put through the meat grinder on these interviews, but we worked hard. Ken Austin is brilliant. Helped prepare him while he was here for the 2 years. Then once he declared for the draft, I met with him in Atlanta while I was on the road recruiting twice before his interviews, then met with him again down at the Senior Bowl just to, hey, all right, tell me what they're asking. What were you felt like, were you stumped on anything? Were you – and every – unless I'm being deceived, every scout I've talked to thus far said, man, he's crushing his interviews.